Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vasel and Sam Healey.
Hey folks! No Z today. Z didn't have a chance to play this game. Today we're taking a look at a game called Carnival Zombie. Now I will be honest, when I got this game, I was less than enthused.
It has such an inviting picture.
Well, it wasn't just that. It was because it had the word zombie in it. Now Carnival, like Carnival Zombie. But we always give a game a fair shake.
Yes, we do.
So let's see if this one's any good. Okay folks, here's the board of the game. This is the board that you'll be using at night. Up here is a map that you'll be using during the course of the day. The game has different turns, has night, day, night, day, night, day, and then one last night phase. And each of the phases is different. I want to talk about the day phase first, even though that comes second. You have a party icon that you can start in 3 different locations, whether you're starting an easy, medium, or hard game. That location will determine during the day where you move. You have so many hours that you can move during the day, but you'll want to use some of those hours to get more weapons, to heal, and do other special actions. But you also want to move, like here's a +1. This takes 2 hours to move here to number 5. And then where are you going to go? To win the game, you either need to go over here and call the airship and then escape to the airship, or you need to go to the boat, catch a boat and leave, or you need to run across the bridge. Or if you find the Holy Grenade, you can go and smash through and fight the Leviathan. So you have different options, and each one actually has several pages in the rule books on how that final scenario plays out. But when you get to each location, let me see if you can see location number 3 here. It shows some dots around it. Depending on where you spend the night will depend what kind of terrain is at that location. Over the course of the game, you're going to be fighting different zombies, and each of the zombies is represented by cubes. On the side of the board, it shows you, for example, a white cube here is an incubus, which has an attack of 1, hit points of 1, and a movement of 2. And over here, then you have these nasty Moloch guys who have attack of 2, hit points of 1, the Goliath, who has hit points of 2, and then your typical vermin. Then there's several bosses. Each boss is represented by either a cone or sometimes a cylinder, and they're also on the outside of the board. And each boss has a special power. For example here, this Bestiarius, all the dogs will come to him and add to his power. But you can see that their attacks and their hit points are quite different and more powerful than your typical zombies. At the beginning of a round, you are going to reach randomly into this bag and pull a cube out of the bag. And let's say here, for example, I pulled a gray cube. That means that a gray boss is going to come into play, depending on the scenario. So maybe it calls for a cylinder, so then the gray boss, which is the martyr, a really nasty guy with 8 hit points, will come into play. Now, when you bring people into play, you will draw cards. These cards are used for many random events. During the daytime, an event will happen. Different locations over here will sink under the sea, which makes them harder to get through. But this will also tell you South 1. It shows where the boss comes here. So they come in South 1 in this section, so down here at the bottom. Now there's 4 hours in a night, and these hours can be very deadly because at the beginning of each hour you're going to draw cubes and place 3 cubes in each of the regions around the outside. They might be with a boss, they might be by themselves. Now sometimes the cubes you pull, like over here, is a blue cube, and that's a survivor, and that guy's not going to come attack you at all, but you're just trying to save him, to kill all the zombies in his area, because one of the people in your party will have the survivors join him and add to his attack. Other times, you will draw these black despair cubes, and those will go on the people that you have. Down here at the bottom of the board, you'll see that there's a stress track. You can get stress as the game goes by. You can take stress to do extra actions. Sometimes actions cause stress. When zombies attack you, they do damage in form of stress. And when you're in the red zone, you're really stressed out and can cause stress to everybody else. And if you go off the stress, well, then you are basically out of the game, although people can revive you and bring you back in. After zombies are placed on the board, and remember, there might be terrain that's been placed on the board. Different terrain means different things. Some terrain means you can't shoot at people till they're in zone 1. Some terrain means the zombies will move faster, all sorts of things. But the zombies will move. Now, these white incubi will move 2 spaces, everyone else moves 1. And then it is the player's turn to go. There are 6 characters in the game, numbered from 1, this is Captain Terror, all the way up to number 6, and they always go in the same order. Now, each of these people has a hand-to-hand combat skill, so if he's fighting zombies that are directly in front of him, he'll do 2 damage. But they also have a gun. This guy has a Remington, which does 1 shot, which does 1 damage, although it's area damage. It will hit each of the zombies in that area, and it has a range of 1, so he can only hit to the ring right outside him. Each of these characters also has a special ability. For example, Captain Terror has 3 tokens that he has with him, and he can use one each hour of the night. Like maybe he can make everybody shoot 1 extra shot, or do better in hand-to-hand combat, or heal a terror. He is the leader of the gang. The next person here is Lady Columbine, who has a much better gun, has a range of 3 and does 2 damage. She's good at picking people off, and she can snipe. She can shoot people even if blocked by other zombies, because you have to shoot the closest zombies normally. This gentleman here can move for free, very agile, and has 2 shots with a range of 2. This guy is your gunner. He has an RPG here, which has 3 shots, 1 each of 3 range, and he has heavy weapons. And I'll talk more about him in a bit. Pantaleon here can put up barricades for you as a free action, and he also has a nice area shot that he can shoot off. And then your doctor here can take these black cubes, these despair cubes, off your characters, because when those are on them, you can't take extra actions for stress. And he has a sort of gun, but as you free survivors at the end of each night, they will join him and add to both his gun strength and his hand-to-hand strength. Now, what's really cool about this game is if you play on the easy level, you can start with a card, but you can also find cards as the game progresses. And so you might find better guns or things that will help you. For example, Doc Pestilence might find this gun in his stack, which gives him, instead of his 1-1-1, now it's a 1-2-1, a much better shot. Or he might find Adrenaline, which is a one-time use card. During the night, a character of his choice gets +1 action every time they go. And so, he can remove all those paranoia cubes off of all the characters. So those are things that he has, while the guy with the guns has a rocket launcher that does 4 damage. Up to 3-way, and he has 2 shots with it, but it's a single-time use. Same with his anti-aircraft gun. That does 4 shots, 2 damage each, 3 away. These are great for shooting at bosses. Or an M60, which is a much, his original gun is cool, but this one has 4 shots that do 1 damage each with a 3 direction away. And he can set up a bipod, which lets him move and fire. So there's all sorts of cool cards in each of the players' decks that they can get, including your engineer guy has a card in his deck, the Holy Bomb, which is one thing you need to find if you're going to try the difficulty of killing off the gigantic Leviathan. So players will get actions. They'll be shooting the zombies and killing off the zombies as they come in. The players will start with a certain number of barricades, and they'll also have to spend actions during the day building barricades if possible. And if the zombies get to barricades, they'll be stopped by those barricades until they destroy all the barricades. And then when that happens, they will come and stand here in the gap, and you must fight them in hand-to-hand combat. You can no longer shoot at them. And if they will also be doing damage to you. Zombies will do damage from this zone and the first zone, so you want to shoot them as much as possible because they will be causing stress to you. If you survive the night, you then decide which direction you're going to run from. That direction will show where you run from on this main board here. So let's say we were here. I could run in any of the 4 directions, and then you have different things you got to do the next day. Build more barricades, heal up, get ready for the next night, find more cards. Until you get to one of these end scenarios, and each end scenario is somewhat different. Like if you fight the Leviathan, you simply have to survive in the middle and move a bomb on a bomb track here. Characters will have to take turns moving that track. If you run across a bridge, there will be a special token here placed in the middle to show that the zombies are only coming from 2 different directions. And so there's different things. But there is one important thing about zombies. Whenever you kill zombies, you place them on here. But you're not allowed to just place them on here. Instead, you are supposed to drop them on. Now, you can drop them from any level you want. But if any zombies fall off as you're dropping them, then you have to place them back on the board. They come back to attack you. And even though you're dropping from a very low thing, you're going to be killing piles and piles and piles of zombies. So as time goes by, eventually some are going to fall off and come back on the board. It's kind of a little bit of a dexterity game, although a few characters have cards that let you wipe this and start over again. So that's basically how you play. Different endings. Hopefully that's a good enough overview to give you a feel of how the game works. These nights are really intense as the zombies come in, and they keep coming in. You have 4 hours. The first 3 hours, more zombies. The 4th hour, you just deal with the ones that are there, and also these really, really nasty bosses. All right, Sam already mentioned the art on the cover, and that art is prevalent through the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of gory artwork.
The main part of the board isn't that bad, though. It's just kind of like a catacomby looking board with...
I thought it was a little too...
With this kind of art around the fringe.
Well, no, I think the board is cool.
Yeah, the board is very cool.
And I also think, I really love the fact that rather than have cards for the different characters, they had that all printed on the board for the bad guys, so that you can instantly see this is what a gray cube does.
Yep.
We never forgot who was what and looking around. It's right in the board.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And they picked good colors. I think that even like colorblind folk wouldn't have because they're basically various shades of black and white and gray and the blue. So that was cool. I'm just gonna come out and say I really like this game. I was really surprised, but the thing about the game that I like is because it makes me feel for the first time in this game that I have a fighting chance, or I'm not going to go down because of stupidity. You know what I mean? Most in movies even, why do people die? Because someone did something dumb.
Yeah.
I left the back door open and all the zombies came in. And, that's irritating. You want to smack that person for being dumb. In this one, every character starts with a gun. Every character.
Yeah.
And every character has a chance to get better guns and equipment. Yeah. And some of the stuff you get
really good guns.
Just sheer awesome. Anti-aircraft gun. Boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
I was also wondering if I would like the game because it's very deterministic. In a sense, there's no rolling dice. The only random thing is what zombies come out where, and the zombie drop. We'll get into that in a bit. But I mean, it felt pretty cool because we're sitting there talking together, saying who's going to do what, how are we going to take these zombies out, how difficult is it. By the way, I'd like to point out this game is hard. Do play on easy your first time through.
Yes.
I think you can win on easy. Well, I know you can win on easy, but.
We played on level 2, and we got by the hair on our chinny chin chin.
Well, we used the starting cards. If we hadn't used those starting cards, we would have lost for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it's neat because you won't see every card in every game. Another thing I really like about this game, I love, is that every character felt very different.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I have a big gun, and this guy's a small gun.
Yeah.
It was... One person's a sniper, and there's the beast,
heavy weapons.
Then there's the leader, onward,
and doctor,
and you have to coordinate.
Yeah, you do.
You have to coordinate and work together. But another thing I think is cool is just the theme. I love the idea of the siege. Of sitting there, and as the zombies come in and protecting and putting barricades up and shooting, and then hand-to-hand combat. Yep. It just all worked together pretty well.
Yeah, it had the feel of kind of like the I Am Legend feel, to where you were able to travel throughout the day, you were able to get what you needed throughout the day and heal and that type of thing. But when
we'll be right back.
Rocky has showed up.
That was Z. See, he had to be in this video.
He's on the way.
All right. Anyhow, what was I talking about? I was saying how much... the siege.
Yeah.
How they just keep coming in.
Yeah, and you feel like you get to the place that you want to stop for the night, and then you build your barricades. You get ready for the onslaught that you know is coming, and then the night is spent not in peaceful sleep. You are fighting for your lives as wave after wave after wave after wave of zombies come at you. And it is just this slugfest. And my word, this was a really cool surprise for me, because I looked at it and I was like, I don't like how, I don't know, dirty the art is. I mean, it's really kind of gross. It's grotesque. And some of they're just nasty looking. And I don't like those kinds of zombies. I like the ones that are, viral
Pretty.
stuff. No, not pretty. Just the normal zombies, not the evil zombies. I don't like that kind of stuff. And that's just me. But, so I came into it trepidatiously, came out of it loving the gameplay.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the zombie bosses, they're scary. They're just a cylinder on the board.
Or a cylinder or a cone.
I could see an upgrade for this with the miniatures.
Or a rectangular.
But you're seeing like, he's getting closer.
I know.
Shoot him.
Do something.
But I just felt the game allowed me to do what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Do you want to shoot people? Right. You get to shoot them. So many times I'm shooting and I'm running out of ammo in other games.
That's one of the things that the lack of dice actually felt. I mean, I love chucking dice, but that was really cool about this. You could always, it sounds bad if you take it out of context, but you could always kill something.
Yeah.
You could always...
No, it's okay to kill zombies. Who cares?
Okay. You could always kill something. There was no doubt about it. You were gonna take something down. How many? How big? That was the question that was left up in the air. So that's the cool thing about this. It doesn't have dice combat, which is normally kind of a turnoff for me, but this one, it worked very well.
I suppose you could have cubes and replace them with different zombie miniatures if you wanted to make it look really...
Yeah, you can...
I guess you could do that, but...
Yeah, you can definitely trick this game out and make it look a lot better than it does. But you'll be running, I think, if you use miniatures, you'll start running into space issues, because the board is designed to have cubes on it, I think. It's not designed for miniatures, so... But, I mean, you could use some of those real small ones that... maybe
like from Twilight Creations, the little zombies.
Yeah, those might work pretty well.
Cool game. I think highly of it. I'm going to give this one one bazooka up and one flamethrower up, because both feature in this game.
Yes. Now, they're only one-time uses, and that's kind of...
But still!
It's really cool, though, because you can take out a whole corridor of zombies with those things. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and give it one martyr up and one nasty-looking dog from hell hound thingy nastiness. 2 thumbs up.
Greatest rating system ever.
Yeah, nasty. So.
I'll say this. I'm hesitant to make this call so early, but I want to say this may be the best zombie game I've ever played. It really felt like some zombie movies I've seen. I've seen enough of those get lost in the woods in a cabin. This one was, I'm in a city fighting for my life.
He said that twice while we were playing this game.
Oh,
just
but you know what the thing was? I just got so excited. I was like, "Oh, here they come!" And then you survive the wave, and you're like, "Okay, we got
pile of corpses." We didn't talk about the pile of corpses.
Okay. I thought that sounded like the dumbest role ever. Okay, here we're playing this game, and they have this dexterity element where you drop these, but they say, "Oh, you can drop from any height." Fine, we're gonna drop them from 1 millimeter.
Yeah, 1 millimeter.
And they'll never fall off that way.
Yeah, right.
But you know what? It's good because
you have to have absolutely clean, oilless hands.
The more zombies on that thing, every time you drop them, you're like shaking.
You're like,
I know.
The guy we were playing with, Christian, he already shakes a little bit, but he was just like,
and we're like, no,
we're like, oh, stop.
It was, and for a mechanic that's just dropping stuff, it really added to the game.
Yeah, it does.
Because you're like, I thought I killed that guy.
Yeah. And then it got goofy towards the end, though, because
we were gaming it.
We gamed it out a little bit. It only gives you one stress wound if you mess up, and you could have 10 zombies fall off the pile of corpses, but you still only get one thing. So we were like, and like they just went flying, and we were like, yeah.
That was a very unique situation.
Yes, it was.
But it's cool, and that game has multiple endings, which is cool. You can go in for the guts and glory, which is really hard, but you can pull it off, or you can just run. I love that aspect to it.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot of replayability.
Huge.
I think it's easy expandable. They could add in cards that you put on the board that replace the bosses.
Yep.
Or the different zombies. So really neat game. This one is really under the radar. I haven't seen anyone talk about this anywhere, but I'm telling you, it's one of the best cooperative games I've ever played. It's one of the best. It's probably the best zombie game I've ever played. Carnival Zombie.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.